Chapter 12. How to live your purpose and give women what they really want. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. Rule 1. She doesn't really want to be. Number 1. A woman sometimes seems to want to be the most important thing in her man's life. However, if she is the most important thing, then she feels her man has made her the number one priority and is not fully dedicated or directed to divine growth and service. She will feel her man's dependence on her for his happiness, and this will make her feel smothered by his neediness and clinging. A woman really wants her man to be totally dedicated to his highest purpose, and also to love her fully. Although she would never admit it, she wants to feel that her man would be willing to sacrifice their relationship for the sake of his highest purpose. A man must never sacrifice his purpose for his woman, because to do so would debase him as a man, force him into feminine energy, which is of the family, and force his woman, who typically wants to be feminine, into the masculine role of work. A man's value comes from his dedication to his purpose at all costs, and women find this very sexy. It allows them to relax, live in their feminine energy, and feel like women. In so many romance movies, you will see the female protagonist say, "You make me feel like a woman," which is a woman allowing herself to feel feminine relative to a man being masculine and living his purpose. Contrary to the popular narrative of today, the homogenization of genders is unfavorable with men and women when it comes to sex and attraction, which is fundamentally based on inequality and complementary and reciprocal opposites. Sexual attraction and energy come from opposite forces colliding, not so much from a sterile, homogeneous, government-mandated, gender-neutral slogan. Men and women have attraction through the oppositeness of their masculine and feminine energies. It's not about gender-neutral people and their gender-neutral energy. There is no sexual tension in that. Rule 2. Your purpose must come before your relationship. Every man knows that his highest purpose in life cannot be reduced to any particular relationship. If a man prioritizes his relationship over his highest purpose, he weakens himself, deserves the universe, and cheats his woman of an authentic man who can offer her full, undivided presence. If you make your purpose second to your relationship, you will have gender neutralized yourself and, in a sense, made yourself into a woman. Women do not want other women. They want men, and the strongest men they can find. They want the tribal leader, the alpha, and for you to put your relationship first, before your purpose disqualifies you from being the leader of the tribe, because women intuitively know that no tribal leader would put her whims before the purpose and survival of the tribe. Rule 3. What she wants is not what she says. Sometimes a woman will make a request of her man in plain English, not to get him to do something, but to see if he is so weak that he will do it. In other words, she is testing his capacity to do what is right, not what she is asking for. In such cases, if the man does what his woman asks, she will be disappointed and angry. The man will have no idea why she is so angry or what could possibly please her. He must remember that her trust is engendered not by him fulfilling her requests, but by him magnifying love, consciousness, and success in their lives in spite of her requests. In spite of your woman's requests, you must stick to your purpose, which usually is your work. She might ask you to put her first or her needs first, but this is a gambit, a ploy to see if you are weak enough to be subordinate to her. Contrary to popular belief in our current society, women do not want to be biologically equal with their men. They want a man who is the tribal leader and stronger than them. For her man to succumb to her every whim and to put her purpose first violates what she wants. She will be unhappy to find out that her man is not the tribal leader after all, and will seek to find a better man if you violate your purpose. Rule 4. Women are not liars. Keeping your word is a masculine trait in men or women. A person with a feminine essence may not keep her word, yet it is not exactly lying. In the feminine reality, words and facts take a second place to emotions and the shifting moods of relationship. When she says, "I hate you," or "I'll never move to Texas," or "I don't want to go to the movies," it is often more a reflection of a transient feeling wave than a well-considered stance with respect to events and experience. On the other hand, the masculine means what it says. A man's word is his honor. The feminine says what it feels. A woman's word is her true expression in the moment. Feelings come and go, emotions are fluid, and reason and clear thinking are direct and often concrete. When a woman emotes, she is saying what she feels, and feelings are not usually well thought out. She is not lying, she is being emotionally expressive. Men will be frustrated listening to what women say. What she says is not what she means. What men say is what they mean. But a woman says what she feels, and her feelings are fluid and can appear to be crazy over time. As the masculine one in the relationship, just stick to reason, stick to your purpose, and let the emotions blow over like a storm. She wants you to be the rock and the stable one, while she can emote and be a little crazy. Rule 5. Her complaint is content-free. Women are always wanting divine masculine presence in a man, regardless of their specific complaint or mood. A man should hear his woman's complaints as warning bells and then do his best to align his life with his truth and purpose. However, if he believes in the literal content of her complaint, he will immediately go off course. For the content reflects her present mood, more than a careful observation of his tendencies over time. Her complaint should be valued as a reminder to get it together, and perhaps as an indication as to how. But more often than not, the specifics of her complaint do not describe the real, underlying action or tendency that needs to be changed. A woman's complaints are not actually about what she says. A man must use a woman's complaints to recheck his purpose and make sure he is on course with his truth. What she is complaining about is often not the root cause of the problem. You play too many video games might mean you aren't doing well at work. Why don't you get it together instead? A man must not try to decode all of these complaints, and again, stick to his purpose and get back on course to make his woman truly happy. Rule 6. She wants to relax in the demonstration of your direction. A woman must be able to trust you to take charge if she relaxes her own masculine edge. This is true financially, sexually, emotionally, and spiritually. The man doesn't have to actually do all the work, but he must be able to steer the course if his woman is going to relax into her feminine without fear. Again, contrary to what we are told in schools and societies, women want to relax in the presence of the masculine. They don't want a democracy where everyone has a vote. To be feminine, she doesn't want to have to make the decisions. That is the masculine energy's job. Feminine women want the man to make the decisions and be direct so she can relax into feminine energy. I remember when I used to take my ex-fiancée to a restaurant we both liked called Spaghetti Factory. If I picked her up and asked her where she wanted to go, we would mutually decide on Spaghetti Factory, and she would be mad that I didn't plan anything. But if I called her in advance, told her to dress up and I was going to take her for dinner to surprise her, made reservations and still went to the same Spaghetti Factory, she was happy because I made the masculine decision that she craved and had thought about her in advance. Women want the decision of the man to protect her so that she can relax into the feminine. She does not want to be equal voting decision-making partners as our society would now suggest. Rule 7. She wants the killer in you. Among many other qualities, a woman wants the killer in her man. She is turned off if her man is afraid, and wants her to kill the cockroach or the mouse while he stands on a chair and watches. She is turned off if her man wants her to get out of bed in order to check out the strange sounds in the house to find out if a burglar made the noise. Fearlessness, or the capacity to transcend the fear of death for the sake of love, is a quintessential form of the ultimate masculine gift. Women love killers. The human race is violent, and violence is part of who we are. To lead the tribe, usually the alpha male leader must make life and death decisions. Male leaders throughout history have often been ruthless killers, and it's no surprise that women love the killer instinct. You can handle the killing, she can handle being a woman. If you can't handle the killing, maybe she will have to handle it, and that will piss her off. She will leave and go find a man who will kill for her instead. Have that killer instinct, have the edge, pull the trigger, and make the decision to own your purpose and be a man. This is what women crave. Rule 8. Never change your mind, just to please a woman. If a woman suggests something that changes a man's perspective, then he should make a new decision based on his new perspective. But he should never betray his own deepest knowledge and intuition in order to please his woman or go along with her. Both she and he will be weakened by such an action. They will grow to resent each other, and the crust of accumulated inauthenticity will burden their love as well as their capacity for free action. To change your mind for a woman is to make her the tribal leader, and that's not what she really wants. She wants you to be the leader so she can enjoy her own feminine energy and be free from the responsibility of being masculine. If she changes your mind about something, then make a fresh decision based on new information. This is normal negotiation practice, but you must be careful not to be the beta to her alpha. Again, that compromises the man's position as the tribal leader and makes your woman unhappy. On the chessboard, the queen is the most powerful piece. She's the most influential and the most dangerous piece in the army. The king is a bumbling fool who is fragile and can only move one square at a time. This relationship between the chess queen and the chess king illustrates the power of women in reality. When men and women pair bond and consummate a marriage, the man absorbs some of her traits, and the woman absorbs some of his traits. They say that when a man is in love with a woman, she becomes his weakness, and when a woman is in love, he becomes her strength. This is called the exchange of power, and women want a powerful man to exchange her sexual and reproductive life-giving energies for his strength, masculine power, and energy. There is an exchange of energy, and traditionally, it has been money for sex and sex for money. Even in Chaucer's time in the 1400s, several of his writings and stories observed the money for sex exchange between men and women. In reality, we can replace money with power, power for sex and sex for power, or beauty for power and power for beauty. In any event, women want power. The power comes from her man, her king, and makes her the most powerful piece on the chessboard. It's fitting that Robert Greene, the author of the best-selling book 48 Laws of Power, also wrote a book on the art of seduction. The book was all about sexual exchange between men and women and had strong undertones of power throughout. Greene's other hit books have been 33 Stratagems of War and Mastery, which also revolve around power and sometimes sex as power. There you have it. Power, war, seduction, and mastery all perfectly situated together as related studies. All of Greene's books are excellent, but they contain similar anecdotes and similar lessons. To wield power and to wield seduction are not that different, which become obvious as you can read through his published books. So, what do women really want? Mastery over their men, and not just any men, the tribal leaders, the powerful men, the men with money, the men with the ability to do things. They want to exchange their power, their sexual power, their reproductive power in exchange for real power in the real world. The woman will become the man's weakness in this exchange, and he will become her strength. More women are interested in this strong man book because they want their own men, the men they are exchanging their sexual energy with, to be stronger and more powerful and to serve their own whims and agendas. This idea makes sense and is justified. A woman is only sexually attractive until a certain age, and as Ben Franklin says, when a woman grows to be less handsome in appearance, she must focus on becoming a good woman. Women have a peak sexual value at around age 20. This has been proven with studies conducted by dating websites like Match.com, in which men aged 18 to 70 chose women's pictures and profiles who were aged 20 to be the most attractive. Women, on the other hand, typically chose men their own age until they reached age 45 and older, on which at every age after 45 they still chose a 45-year-old man. The genders of men and women have inverse sexual values. A man has low sexual value at age 20 and peaks his sexual value at age 45. His sexual value is derived from K value, which means carrying capacity in German reproductive studies. Carrying capacity is about resources and how can he provide to ensure the survival of his children. A 20-year-old young man has low carrying capacity, whereas a man who is 45 has peak carrying capacity and can even support a first or even second family, which explains the biological urge for a man to have a midlife crisis, run away from his aged wife with his hot young secretary, and start a second family. His carrying capacity is high, he can afford it. Women, on the other hand, peak at high sexual value at age 20 with high R value, which is reproductive value, and their value slowly declines until age 45. Reproductive value declines in both men and women as they grow older because R value is based on physical traits. When you see young, sexy people at the club with toned muscles, sexy outfits, perfect hair, healthy tan bodies, thin bodies, tight bodies, and looking gorgeous, that is an R-value environment. No one is considering the carrying capacity of anyone in the nightclub. Instead, everyone is just looking at the physical replication value, and that is how value is judged in that environment. Interestingly, this all has to do with reproduction and children, where a 20-year-old woman has youth and beauty on her side and is able to reproduce several children in a healthy way. Her R value or reproductive value is very high at 20. On the flip side, a man's value comes from his K value, which is his carrying capacity. It comes down to money, power, and economics. And a man who has survived until age 45 is a proven commodity in the sexual marketplace. He has theoretically raised his first family at 20 and is ready for his second family at 45. Thus the built-in software for the male midlife crisis. Amazingly, young women still find 45-year-old men attractive. Even if the man has kids, he is a proven sexual commodity and able to reproduce and carry his second set of offspring with resources until they are old enough to be adults. This proven abundance of resources is very attractive to women. Conversely, a 45-year-old woman with kids is not attractive to men because men are looking for R value, reproductive value, and a woman at 45 has very little ability to produce more children when compared with a young, beautiful, fertile 20-year-old. Furthermore, if she has kids from another marriage or relationship, she is deemed to be less attractive than a woman without kids. Men of high value do not want to raise another man's kids. Is this a double standard? Yes. Is it unfair? Yes. However, this is the reality of life and the way biology was designed for our survival of the human race. This explains why older men are frequently with younger women. In Canada, where I live, men statistically marry women 5 years younger than them, which is standard in this culture. Statistically speaking, a man can marry a woman up to 9 years younger than him, and the chances of divorce are not too bad. If he marries a woman 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years older, the stats for divorce start to become perilous and the marriage is unlikely to work out. As far as women marrying younger men, the maximum age gap for older women and younger men is only 2 years. If the man is any younger than 2 years, the stats for divorce become unfavorable indeed. Women want the exchange of sexual power with strong men, tribal leaders, and alpha males. They want to take ownership of these men, much like the queen on the chessboard, and want to use his power, his resources, and his money to serve her offspring and her wishes and dreams. This is what women want. Is it cold? Perhaps. Is it right or wrong? Who knows? But what it is the reality of the sexual marketplace. And if you are a young man wishing to do well in the sexual marketplace, you might as well understand what women really want and fill the need. Otherwise, you will be singing the Young Man Blues. Young Man Blues, as performed by The Who. Oh, well, a young man ain't got nothing in the world these days. I said a young man ain't got nothing in the world these days. Well, you know, in the old days, when a young man was a strong man, all the people they'd step back when a young man walked by. But you know, nowadays, it's the old man. He's got all the money, and a young man ain't got nothing in the world. These days, I said, ain't got nothing, got sweet, nothing. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that a young man ain't got nothing. Oh, yeah, everybody knows that a young man ain't got nothing. In the old days. Oh, in the old days. Everybody stepped back when a young man walked by. They stepped back, they stepped back, they stepped back. They stepped far, far back, yeah. Have pity on the young man. They ain't got nothing in the world these days, I said. They ain't got nothing. They got sweet fuck all.